Now, China's December trade bucked expectations for a front-loading related slowdown, with both exports and imports beating forecasts for 2025. The trade surplus surged to new record highs, but in fact it hit nearly $1.2 trillion, which is equivalent or even more than the GDP of some top 20 economies. China's exports grew by 6.6% year-on-year in the month of December, up from 5.9% in the month of December. Imports also surprised to the upside, climbing 5.7%, which resulted in a $114 billion hit to the surplus for December alone. That is the biggest in 6 months, also one of the highest monthly readings on record, and also shows Beijing's attempt to pacify key trading partners' concerns. President Trump had often used China's trade surplus as a reason to impose tariffs. However, his policies have done the exact opposite, making China even more powerful on the international stage. While the US trade deficit has narrowed somewhat, tariffs have had limited impact on China's trade surplus. Beijing's strong export performance came despite a clear drop in exports to the US, which fell 20% for the full year. Exports to South Korea fell 1.1% and goods to Japan rose 3.5%. Relatively soft for the year, however, exports to other regions were enough to offset this drag last year. The top export destinations were ASEAN nations with a 13.4% rise. Goods to the EU saw an 8.4% rise. Strong export growth was seen in India with a 12.8% surge. Exports surged to Africa by 25.8% and Latin America saw 7.5%. By product, the top performers for the year were semiconductors, which saw 26.8% growth, ships saw 26.7%, and autos surged to a 21.4%. Exports with high exposure to the US fell. Toys were down 12.7%, furniture fell 6.1%, and footwear fell 11.3%. Those goods were major underperformers for the year. The latest export structure also indicates that China continues to move up the value-added ladder, that is. China's highest ever trade surplus is also a reminder that high US tariffs under Trump have so far failed to derail Beijing's export-led growth. Not just China, India's trade too has shown that Trump's tariff threat does not have the same bite it did previously.